No, you don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend.
Fucking on it though. Then
He a
you can't play it up
legend.
later.
Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of Iron. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of Iron.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I know that recently some of you have been commenting on my appearance. Some of you think that I look like a vampire. There's nothing I can do to change this. The lighting in my room makes it look as if I have no pigment at all. This is an unfortunate circumstance, but it's nothing that I'm willing to change at this point in time. Do I like the bags under my eyes from this view? No. Do I like being pasty white? I don't really care. Do I like coming in 156th? I do not. Especially when my lineup was very similar to the winning lineup. Now you might say, this is not the perfect lineup from yesterday. And to that I say, you are correct. But I run out multiple lineups, and my opinions constantly change throughout the day. I had a lot of exposure to EDG. Those lineups lost. LGD. Did I say EDG? Whatever. LGD. They lost. I had exposure to Rogue Warriors. They lost. And at the same time, I gave myself a little exposure to some other teams. I liked Huan Feng a lot. I also loved Billy Gaming by the end of the day. I didn't have enough of them, and having them wouldn't have gotten me to first place, so it doesn't even really matter. But that's basically all I want to show you. This was my best lineup from last night. This is the lineup that came in first in this contest. I think this was the Elder Dragon, the 20 entry max. A similar lineup won first place in the Titans Fury, but I think they switched out one or two things. Not a big deal. Twitter. The lineups for China are already out. My Twitter handle is @LeagueOfItems. When I share information that helps you, you should share it for other people. Don't be a greedy bastard. Invictus Gaming. World Elite. No surprises for their rosters. Dominus. RNG. No surprises for their rosters, but we should note that Shie is playing. And then EDG against OMG. There are no surprises. BetDSI. This is where I get my sports lines from, and these are the games for today. If you want to take a closer look at the information that I have, just pause the video. It's that simple. Otherwise, we're going to get into the almost perfect lineup. Now, if you look at the top of the screen, there are some of the favorites locked in because I think this is a night where the favorites are going to play very well. There are a lot of playoff implications, a lot of seeding implications. I'm going to do a deeper dive into that later today, but as it stands right now, when I look at this board, I look at a lot of favorites who are going to win. That's going to do a lot for roster construction tonight, but the show must go on, and you need your almost perfect lineup, so let's just get right into it. First, in the top lane, it's everybody's favorite. It's the high school doppelganger, the Shy. He is Shy. He also has the highest upside of basically any top laner in the LPL right now, and probably the world. He has the chance of scoring 150 DraftKings points any slate if he gets very good matchups. He's extremely aggressive, and as the last game of the day is going to be starting at 6:30 a.m., I could see a lot of people sweating this guy, because against World Elite, that might be the highest matchup on the day. I think the Dominus game and the Invictus game are going to be the two highest scoring on the slate probably. There's an outside chance that we get a really strong 2-0 from one of the Korean teams because of meta shifts, but it's kind of difficult to anticipate that with any amount of confidence. And I don't want to get yelled at in the comments. So, we have the Shy. The Shy, very good. In the jungle, we have GG or Jai Jai. Not 100% sure how to pronounce his name, but since he's come back for EDG, they've been winning a decent amount of their games. So, if you look at the game log, they just lost to FPX. FPX is one of the best teams in the world. In their first matchup back, he scored 104 points against LNG. LNG is not the highest scoring team, and they're not the biggest losers when they're behind. OMG is similar. OMG, maybe they can fight them, maybe they can keep the games close, but I still like EDG to go 2-0, and if they go 2-0, GG, Jai Jai, whatever his name is going to perform well. There are other junglers on the slate that I think have pretty high upside that are going to be highly correlated with their teams, but it's difficult to like them. It's pretty difficult to differentiate them over each other today, specifically. So if you're stacking a team and you're only going to have exposure to 2 teams in your lineup, maybe Jai Jai doesn't make it into your lineup. But that's a decision that you have to make. I can't just spoon feed you, you baby. Mid lane, we have Xiaohu. RNG, very good team. Playing against Dominus, very good matchup. Xiaohu, most important player on RNG. That is indisputable. Betty might get a little bit more kills sometimes, but game in, game out, most important player, Xiaohu. The top laner, Longxi, doesn't get a lot of kills because they want to play around Xiaohu and Betty. That's just the easiest win condition that they have. Dominus gives up a ton of points to mid laners and AD carries in their losses. Check out the graphs that I have on Twitter that I retweet from some other great sources like Sports Projections. Man, that's difficult to say. AD carry. We have 2 AD carries today because I like a lot of the AD carries. I think today might be the day where we get a Korean team being the highest scoring team, and if it's any of these teams, I think it's going to be T1. The reason I think it's going to be T1 is because the meta shift that has recently happened could force T1 to play with carry junglers. I don't know which jungler they're going to use, if it's Cuz or Elim, but they both have champions that they can play that fit the carry meta. This means that Faker might go on to some supportive champions, and Teddy might go on to some harder carry champions. The onus might be put completely on Teddy to carry these late game team fights and to do more damage. If he's going to be the one doing more damage, fighting these late game team fights, if this matchup has playoff implications, which I think it does, then we will get potentially the bloodiest day in Korea this season. There's a chance. There's a real chance. I need to look further into that. Check out my video later today on DFS Bachelor's channel. Check out the live stream that we're going to do later tonight, just to make sure that my thoughts don't change. If you paid attention to me all day yesterday, by 11 o'clock at night, you would have heard me talking about Billy Gaming, how I thought they were a very good contrarian play, how I thought that they had a real chance to 2-0 LGD because of all they had to do in the pick ban phase was ban Senna. And guess what? They banned Senna. So just keep an eye out for that. Overall, my favorite play today comes from China, and his name is Betty. If you don't know what that reference is from, then I can't help you. It's one of the best, worst movies ever. I believe it's called Kung Pao Enter the Fist. It's an English dubbed movie. It is hilarious. You should go watch it during quarantine. I have no idea where you can find it. I haven't watched it in over 10 years. I used to get it on VHS from West Coast Video. West Coast Video no longer exists. Betty still exists. LPL still exists. LPL is probably still going to give you more points than LCK, but not necessarily. And I think today that might change. There are a lot of viable stacks out there. A lot of good favorites tonight. Dominus and World Elite are probably the 2 teams that I want to stack my teams against, but the roster construction is going to be tough. And if we get one of these underdogs on a 6-game slate that can make an impact, then it's going to turn everything on its head. The best underdog, probably World Elite, just because Invictus Gaming they're just crazy people. But some people call me a crazy person. A crazy person that stays up live tweeting drafts at, what was it, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning? It's tough to keep track. I'm a vampire. I need to go to sleep. But before I go to sleep, I needed to make sure that I gave the people what they need. And obviously, what the people need is the almost perfect lineup.